is this evening, Marcus?
Digital activists.
What is that? Can you explain it to me in a different way? What is digital activists? What do they do? Marcus? What do they do?
Well, we are the digital activists.
What?
Okay.
What
Well, welcome to CitizenFest, Citizen Network, and the lively connection around the world. We're a small but powerful community and today we're focusing on digital activism because that's who we are. We're mucking around on the net and we're trying to figure out how to stir up trouble and good trouble all around the world. But we want to meet each other. So if we can begin with just introduce yourself, where you're from, and as you're engaged in this digital world, what are you up to? Why don't we begin with Delphin? Unmute yourself, Delphin.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm Delphin. I'm from Congo, DRC. I'm a citizen from Congo, from DRC. But I'm live from Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. That's my place of work. So I'm working in Dar es Salaam for an organization named Africa Human Rights Network. And I'm the chief of the Department of ITC. That's
okay. And I neglected to do the obvious. My name is Jack Pierpoint and I'm in Toronto, and I'm with Inclusion Press and a newbie in the Citizen Network, but even more fun. So Leila, why don't you introduce yourself? Unmute. Leila, there you go.
Leila from Dover in the southeast UK, southeast Kent, UK.
Okay, and you're playing around in the digital world?
I communicate on Skype via talking to my sister. I research and use Google. Yes. So,
okay,
yeah.
That's great. And Kevin in Connecticut. And then
Good evening,
Keith,
good morning.
you're after Kevin. Sorry, Kevin.
That's fine. Good evening, good morning, good night, everywhere. My name is Kevin from Connecticut. I am with a music organization called Musical Intervention in New Haven. I am a frequent viewer and participant in the No Labels, No Walls movement and Citizen Networks TV producers. So I'm also just happy to be a part of this. Thanks again.
And Keith, welcome.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Keith. I'm here in Glasgow in Scotland on a very rainy and windy bank holiday Monday here, which is probably why we haven't got quite as many people tonight. And I work with In Control Scotland, and over the last year we've done lots more things online.
Great. I think we've almost met, Keith. And Kevin. Kevin He.
Kevin.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, my name's Kevin. I'm calling in from Ontario, north of Toronto. My interest is in hashtag activism and drawing, expanding upon the narrative of Tell the Truth hashtag to expand it far beyond climate, but to draw the narrative to suggest that to tell the truth about the climate is to tell the truth about everything, which includes the trajectory of colonialism and how it's bringing us to where we are today. My interest is to shake the snow globe, and it's an honor to be on the screen with a bunch of the faces of people that I think are equally like-minded. So thanks for having me.
Please send me a hashtag, because my digital activism is limited and I need to pick up my game. So thanks, Kevin. How about you, Tim?
Thanks, Jack. Hey, everybody. Tim in Bellevue, Kentucky, in the United States. I've been, I guess, a digital activist in a lot of ways, mostly through just being engaged online, but I love the way that the Action Monday group is taken off. I'm really interested in this, this word, hygiene theater, that we've been using around the pandemic, where they're saying like people are just like, just showing that they're like being safe or whatever, but they're not really necessarily doing it. And I'm really interested in how do we get away from theater and how do we get into living inclusion, because there's inclusion theater too sometimes. So I wonder how digital activists can do that. Thanks, glad to be here.
And Linda.
Folks, I'm here in Toronto. Jack's on the top floor of our house, and I'm on the second floor of our house, and we're with Inclusion Press, and we've been making stuff up since the lockdown in terms of just how to connect with people in conversation. And so I found ourselves stretching and learning things I never thought I would know or understand. And so I'm really, really curious to kind of keep stretching my thinking and understanding about what's possible for connecting with other people and acting on things that really matter deeply to us.
On to Cynthia.
Well, good and glorious day to each and every one of your shiny selves. I am so grateful to be here. I am Cynthia Leonard, and I am representative for Radio Hydrogen and for agora-ilp.org Citizen Assembly, of which I would all encourage you to check out Radio Hydrogen, because it's freaking amazing. It is all about making the world a better place and giving people inspiration to build on what is left after the society as we see it starts to change. So I'm really looking forward to this meeting, and I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
Can you put those addresses in the chat so we can all find them? Thank you very much.
You didn't even have to ask. It was just a
Oh,
matter of me
good.
getting
Okay.
to the other screen. I'm all over it, Jack.
So you are a serious digital activist. Perfect. Rusty.
Oh, yes. Hello. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good evening. Good night. I'm one of the founders of Radio Hydrogen, and I work in a kind of a Venn diagram overlap with Cynthia, and starting to sort of very, very cautiously move towards CNTV, courtesy of Marcus, and I'm having quite a lot of fun with it, and coming across a lot of optimistic people. And I'm quite interested in what Tim was saying about inclusionism. Tim and Linda, I think it was. Inclusionism is just a word I've started to use autonomously, and found out that, well, everybody's thinking about that now with so much disparity in society, globally, that is. So I'm quite interested in having a peek at what they got to say for themselves, their various websites and thing as well, and anybody that's just pro social innovation and inclusion. that's me.
Thanks, Rusty.
Thank you.
Cindy, can you unmute? Cindy, okay? Are you? Yep.
I'm here. I'm here. Sorry, I just went to get a cup of tea. So I was just across the room. I wasn't that far. But I'm Cindy Sadler. I live in Finland, but I'm from Maine. I'm here just to see who's here tonight and to listen to the program.
Excellent. Well, welcome. And obviously you're a digital citizen or you wouldn't be here. Rosemary. Rosemary or Rosemary?
The last one.
Okay.
It confuses me too when people ask. Like ordinarily I would think about it, but when people ask, I'm like, they sound the same. Rosemary works. Hi, I'm not really sure what type of meeting this is, but Cesare just invited me and I do know Cynthia and I met Rusty recently. So these are familiar faces. I live in the Caribbean in an island called Grenada. It's really close to Trinidad. Trinidad is more popular. And it's more in the southern half of the Caribbean, that chain of islands. I connected with ILP last year, which is how I met Cesare and Cynthia. And then last Friday, I connected with Rusty for his podcast series with, again, Cynthia and Cesare. I got into politics here in 2017. So I'm working through a small party trying to get established as a viable third party option to sort of kind of balance things off because we're a two-party state. We've just been back and forth between these two parties for the last couple of years, decades, I don't remember, years. But interestingly though, we've also had just one party being in government currently and in the last term. So we've actually had not much of an opposition in parliament, which sort of isn't super democratic. We've had a bit of opposition, but no opposition MPs. It's just that a couple opposition senators were appointed. And then I think it was early last year, we had an interesting development where one of the government MPs resigned from the party, but constitutionally retained his seat. So automatically he became the opposition leader. So we've had some interesting ways of getting an opposition in parliament without anybody voting, actually voting for any other party candidates to be their MP. So Grenada has this unique situation for democracy, although it's democratic. We certainly do vote, but we've not had much of a balance of power in parliament for a while. But I find politics really interesting from the politician's perspective. It's been a couple of years in, and I do like hearing from people all around the world, not just about politics, but not just about politics from the politician's perspective, but also things that affect people, things that may or may not have worked, problems, solutions, etc. I think we as humans, we sort of have the same needs and the same issues wherever we are. Climate may vary, a couple other things, but I think fundamentally, we all want the same things from our government, the same things in our countries, etc. So I'm looking forward to whatever you're discussing today. I'm not sure what type of meeting it is, but it's usually
I think we likely share an interest in democracy and a wide variety of experiences in its implementation. So good luck in your future. It sounds like there's lots of potential for a real opposition to emerge. How about you, Cesare? Did I say that correctly?
Sorry, the last thing I heard was potential. I think my internet. So, it's Marcus. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Joining you here from the outskirts of Chicago, representing the nation of USA, and a new system of democracy that actually enables you to control your government. We have this networking platform called Agora, the worldwide stock market of ideas, where every one of you can develop your own political philosophy out of various ideas, to then show which of those ideas have the most support from the people. And according to that, create new politicians, create lists of new politicians who actually represent the will of the people. Because if they don't, then guess what? There's somebody waiting in line ready to replace them, essentially making politicians replaceable and outsourcing the government to the people. So check out Igor. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Thank you for having me here.
Well, I suspect you've got a new candidate in in Grenada for sure. And next, let's have, whoop, I've lost, there. Nilsi? How do I pronounce it? I'm sorry.
Hi, it's Neasley.
Neasley. I'm sorry, Neasley.
No worries. Hi, everyone. I'm Neasley. I am in Los Angeles. Digital, well, I guess I've been just creating a lot of content. I am a minister and I am a chaplain. So, and I'm also the director of family life at my church. So basically what I do is create content for the different departments. So we've got family life broken down into men's ministry, women's ministry, singles ministry, and we have a foster care and adoption sort of ministry. And my role is, you know, prior to pandemic was to help all those ministries make sure they connect with the people, not just in the church, but in the community. Pandemic had to pivot and start creating content because during the pandemic, we've also picked up a second campus physically and also an online campus. So we went from being a 1 campus church to a 3 campus church last year. And so that wasn't planned, it just happened. And so part of my job is to create content for the online ministries and the physical ministries.
That's great. Mar, is it Mar Eran?
Yes,
Mar?
hello.
Ah,
Yes.
great.
I'm in New York and I am studying the historic intersection of white supremacy and climate change and wealth inequality and overpopulation.
Wow. And what do you do in your spare time? I'm sorry.
Oh, I study the disintegration of the American form of government.
Yes, yes. Any of those could be a full-time occupation. So, but we're with you, I think. All right. So everybody's here, everybody's in, and I think you have something to offer, Marcus. And we also didn't even hear from you yet.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Markus Vähälä, representing Kukunori, an umbrella organization of 43 NGOs in Finland, working with themes like poverty, prison systems, minorities, disability, mental health, and we do a lot of international and national work on these themes. I'm also representing Citizen Network. Many of you are members of Citizen Network, and if you are not, please join today. So we are a global network of over 200 organizations and over 700 individuals working to create citizenship for all. And today, I'm very glad to be here with you talking about digital activism, as this is the No Labels, No Walls, which is a movement created by Kukunori and the Strindberg Laboratory in Los Angeles, and by all of you. We are all creating this as we go. And many in our No Labels, No Walls community and in these meetings have also wished to explore the skills and structures of creating Action Mondays. So we are at the same time experiencing an Action Monday and also talking about the Action Monday and digital activism. During the COVID pandemic, we have had these Action Mondays every Monday. So we have trained also to create Action Mondays, and today I will briefly go through how you can create Action Mondays, what skills are related to it. A lot of us today are also part of the Citizen Network TV, how that media reach is also helping us moving forward, and how can we learn from each other. It wouldn't be an Action Monday without a presentation, wouldn't it? So I have it here, and if you remember launching Citizen Network TV, it's the same visuals, so you can copy from each other in digital life. It's very easy to copy somebody else's. Of course, you have to give credit where the credit is due, but there's a lot of online resources that we can use and explore. Also ideas like Igora that Cesare mentioned. It's a system where you can develop your ideas and the policies also. So digital activism, what is it? So Action Monday, I'm very interested in data. So in Kukunori, I'm running a think tank called Citizen Think Tank, and a laboratory called Propeller Heads. So in Propeller Heads, we are developing solutions related to the themes of Kukunori, themes that are quite international, that we have found out when we have had this Action Monday. So last year we have 36 Action Mondays that reached 747 people. Also, we created content to our own No Labels, No Walls festival, reaching over 50,000 people in 39 countries over 6 days. So creating actions often creates results, but also it's very good to think about the feedback, how to create that data that is meaningful for you and your action. So this year we launched new No Labels, No Walls website. We also launched the Citizen Network TV, a community media for everything Citizen Networky around there, inviting new people and also reaching new audiences. We have had 18 Action Mondays. So every Monday is an Action Monday. It's also our slogan, I guess, for this year. And we are also creating themes for our next No Labels, No Walls festival happening in August this year. So the idea of the festival is also to create action. Last year we have presentation, this year we have action. So we are inviting people over themes to create an action digitally. So these skills, running Action Mondays, using the technology that we have today, allows also creating festivals. And some of you might be familiar with the CitizenFest concept. That is a network of citizen festivals. So next week we will launch our first festival this year called Festival of Debate in Sheffield. That also includes 3 Action Mondays. So they might be now exploring our streams, how that connects to the festival stream that they are having starting next week. So Action Monday, very simple. What do you need? It's 1 hour, so it's limited. So what can you do in 1 hour? How to fit it all in? That's a challenge. Theme. So it is your platform. So already your passion is a good theme. But quickly we have found out that these themes also connect people. For example, around poverty, we have been talking about universal basic income leading to this and that. So also these themes invite people over spending 1 hour and doing a shared action. Some people are a little bit afraid of technology, thinking that it's difficult to use. I think it's learnable. We can learn it, and we learn it today as well during this 1 hour event. And we need people, we need you, we need an audience, how to reach and join people to your Action Monday. So that's a good question that we could discuss together. So the first thing that you need to do in creating an Action Monday, you have your theme, you contact No Labels, No Walls, and you create an event. For that event, you need perhaps a picture, a small description. Majority of the event data is already there. So if you're producing Action Mondays, we are now inviting people to become Action Monday producers. You have all the necessary access to copying the last week's event and creating a new event. So it's quite easy. It takes a couple of minutes and you're done. So we are using Zoom here. So people have asked me to tell a little bit about how Zoom works in relation with Action Mondays. So today, for example, Jack and me, we met 15 minutes before in this same permanent link. So I always create permanent links for permanent things, because that's also very good for the bots that are around there seeking the links to Zoom events. So by using bit.ly links or similar links, you can sort of fool these bots that might enter your Zoom meetings and then create havoc inside there. So 15 minutes time, it's good enough if you have already emailed or discussed about the event, and also check the audio, video, and screen sharing, the 3 things that are important to the quality of the program. So please ask your guests, and also as host, try to find a peaceful, quiet room. Please use the best microphone available, and have enough light to light usually the cameras on your laptop are not good with light, so more light the better. So probably there will be some people waiting. You send a message there that no problem, you're in the right spot. We will begin soon, and you can start inviting people already into the meeting beforehand. That also allows to create a calm and peaceful atmosphere and get to know people. For example, hey, I just came here by surprise, and can you tell me where am I? So you're in the right place. I have a huge mat in Kukunori that says that you are in the right place. That's because always people ask that, are you in the right place? So mute participants among entry. You can create these kind of technological things to make life easier for you to host digital events. And I usually make these in preferences. So they are there already. So if you become an Action Monday producer in No Labels, No Walls, everything is there for you already. So you just create that once and then off you go. So these streaming platforms, they take time to create these streams. I also use a technology called Restream.io, which streams this program that you are now joining today into 5 different locations. So it's very good to use these kind of systems where you do it once and then it works every week as you do the Action Monday. So probably people are joining in, and you are. It's very good for the event to have the possibility for the people to unmute themselves, to have discussion and questions. But then you can also mute participants if needed. Usually somebody is there and unmutes themselves by accident, and then there's some noise. And as a host, you can mute people if needed. It's good to have a co-host. For example, Kevin today is a co-host. So if my internet connection drops down, the co-host can then
pick it up.
Yeah, pick it up. Thank you, Kevin. So remember to encourage people to talk on chat, ask questions and comment like Kevin is doing today. There are always some people that want to be more laid back and not to participate, and that's okay. So let them. So create different ways to participate. In some of the festival events, we are also following the social media, so people are having the conversation over the theme in various locations. So make sure that you are also there in these same locations where that conversation is happening. And link people to people, organizations to organizations. No labels, no walls is a movement to link people together to create shared action. So that's also something that we all can do at the same time. So you check the time and send private messages to the host if needed. Now it's 33 minutes, so we're in between an hour. So we still have minutes to go. But funnily, it usually by the end, when people start to discuss, then the time flies, and no problem of having Action Mondays that last longer than 1 hour. But the hour is there to create brackets, because then people can say I can spare an hour to this theme or to this action. So that's also a good way to create boundaries and this kind of structure that helps that action. So if somebody is disturbing the event, please ask to stop. If that does not work, remove from the event. We rarely have this, but we used to have these bots joining in and doing their thing. But after using these bit.ly links, they are not here anymore. And then thank the host and choose a host for the next event. So in Action Mondays, we have had this kind of a regular theme. So Jack, you're witnessing that. So you were chosen as a host for the next week, and that creates this continuity. So that each event has a person, and also because people tend to just come there and do their thing and then leave, it also helps to create a community, the sense of that there's a next week and you're there as a host. So after the hour, you just end meeting for all. The stream automatically stops. The recording automatically stops. By the way, I'm recording this as we go, just to make sure that if the stream is not working, so I have a copy there, and I'm also recording that to the cloud, but you can also record that to your local computer. Sometimes it helps, and then you can publish that to the CNTV YouTube channel later, and then share that recording with others. So while streaming, the restream technology doesn't allow you to create that event text automatically, copying that from your Meetup or Facebook events. So you have to change that text before you copy that event and start sharing it with other people. So sharing and promoting your event, that's very important. For example, Michael Bierman, one of the founders of the No Labels, No Walls movement, is now in Ecuador. And from Ecuador, we don't see it, but Michael is now sharing this to a huge list of 35 different locations. So I'm also streaming this to 5 locations, and Michael is sharing that. So these tasks can be done in any time zone, anywhere in the world. So you create a team, an international team that works together very well. So to promote the action, that's a very good question. That we are digitally surrounded by all this digital action, and you need to be sort of human to do it. So join in the conversation and follow up. So if there's questions, you need to be there to discuss that subject. And always promote the next event. And there must be a huge amount of things that I missed. So please write those in the chat and we can discuss it soon. And this is interesting. In Kukunori, we have created a huge data system now in use in over 400 organizations. And it's there to make action visible. So NGOs say that they are doing good stuff, they are doing good things for people, but how to create data that helps you in your actions, but also you get some data that you can compare with. So this kind of data related questions are very interesting because it creates meaning and it creates a bigger picture, so to say. It creates links and strengths. For example, Jack and Linda and their friends, they invented thoughts and action around inclusion. And now I part of a huge reform in Finland around inclusion, and that is something that Jack didn't know, and he didn't see. A lot of these results of our actions are hidden from us, and these kind of international networks and meaningful data might report that this is happening. This is the something that was related to something that I did 40 years ago, for example. But in our festivals, we have done questionnaires, interviews, and then you can use the data from these digital platforms, and that's interesting. A lot of these digital platforms, they collect data that can be used for advertising, but you can also use this similar kind of data to advance good things. For example, okay, this festival was attended from Congo. Perhaps we could find who these people are. Could there be some organizations that we could invite to our Action Mondays and to our movements? And what is the right way to report your meanings? You can write, you can create a video, you can create another Action Monday to understand. But what is the correct way? That's something that we could explore together. So people have asked me how to create Action Monday. So if you have an idea for an Action Monday, congratulations, you're off to a good start. So send an email or message through any of our social media platforms. And as an Action Monday producer, that all of you soon will become, book a date on our shared list on Google Docs. So as you can see, every week is also we are following a program. So Niisli's program in June. After that, there's space for your program. So we are creating these Action Mondays. So little by little, we have more programs that we can expect. So that leads also to the August festivals, but it also happens after that. So today we could discuss about sharing and learning. No Labels, No Walls was formed to create a platform and environment for sharing and learning, and Action Monday is one tool to make that happen. It's also a very good tool because these days when majority of us are locked down in one way or another, it also allows us to contact each other every Monday. And something that I would like to discuss with Jack and Linda and all of you, how to make this Action Monday safe, accessible, and inclusive. These are the themes that are now very global, and people are talking about these issues all the time. And sustainability. Who will make it happen? We are also always relying on things to be there, but it takes some time and a small amount of effort to make that happen. And today you saw that it's basically quite easy to make things happen. So then it's like the question of who are those people that will make these Action Mondays happen? Because I have to concentrate on the festival and CitizenFest and CNTV. So I'm inviting you to be the Action Monday producers from now on. So continuity, how to make that action also created here. Today, the topic is digital activism and Action Mondays. So how to make these Action Mondays continue, how to create continuity there. Thank you very much. And let's make Action Mondays better, and let's create Action Mondays. But I know many of you are very familiar with various digital platforms and digital action. So what kind of ideas did you get from these presentations and the things related to Action Mondays? How about you, Rusty?
Yeah, just it sounds a little bit like a platitude on my part, but there's a practical element to it. What is kind of reassuring about this is that there is one sort of grand unifying theme to sort of everybody I've encountered in these last few sessions, and they might even be sort of model socialists or anarchists or free market supporters. But the grand unifying theme is, it sounds really twee, but it's caring, it's giving a damn, and a sense of justice and equitability, you know. And I think what that does is that reassures me that wherever you are in the world, you could probably leverage that and say to your local MPs, your local members of parliament or whatever, or Congress or whatever, right, I'm not voting for you unless you implement some form of citizens' assembly, you know, because it's regardless of the difficult kind of disparate political alignments of people who might be here, the one thing they all have in common is that they are proactive in their need to make the world a better place beyond just voting, which is flaccid, petitioning, which is not much better. But so I think this is a time for citizens' assemblies, really, through things like Agora and Sortition, and that's regardless of your political alignment. So I'm kind of, I just think it's a natural, maybe evolutionary process, but appreciate not other people might not agree with me, and I'd be interested in that.
Thank you, Rusty. What do you think, Tim? You're also doing digital action in your local area, but also.
I think it's great. I'm always going to say, and appreciate you presenting all that. I'm really interested in really local, you know. I remember just where we live in our neighborhood, which is only 6,000 people in our city. The city council was about to create a daytime curfew for youth because there were like 3 brothers that were getting in a little bit of trouble, right? And we knew that if we didn't act to stop that would put our kids at risk, and some kids would be more at risk than other kids. And it would put our police officers and first responders in a hard place too. So we went to the city council meeting, right? And we were like, no. And so I just think like I could sit around and yell at things online in other places, but I'm super interested in what happens 6 blocks from my house in the city council chamber and how we are aware of our own local responsibility to prevent bad policy and to encourage thoughtfulness and reasonableness and care at that level.
Thank you, Tim. How about you, Linda? What is there something in digital activism that you have invented during last year or this year?
Well, I think that one of the ways that I would think about that has been creating virtual events over the year, because we weren't able to have 150 people gather internationally last summer for something, the Toronto Summer Institute on Inclusion, Diversity, and Community. And not being able to gather, we started to invent and prototype, how could you get every other month created an event we called Ideas That Matter, invited people to present on a topic and then follow it up with a more in-depth hour and a half about that. And I have to go back and count, because we're thinking about a way to weave that together for a Create Your Own event this summer. I think there's probably 9 or 10. There's at least 3 Ideas That Matter sessions, and then 9 more in-depth sessions. And then we've tried a couple of world cafes online. So we've just been making up some ways to connect people and have found that there are people who've never attended a Summer Institute before, who've now tapped into this because they always wanted to, or they've now discovered it online, or there's something more accessible about it. And I think the interesting thing that we're also facing is just some of the fatigue with learning online. And so just really trying to think about ways to be thoughtful about people's attention and some of the heart of the premises that we always cared about, which is being in charge of your own learning. And so how could you do that without spending days online? Anyway, so we're just making shit up, and we're just trying to figure out what's going to be next for this summer's event. And we just keep learning as we go, and really feel very fortunate about the fact that Simon and Tim told us about these conversations. So it's really interesting to connect with this group and just hear what other people are up to.
I could build on that a little bit, because a parallel activity, not unrelated, is that, we've been oppressed for some time with some stuff out there, but we have been transitioning an enormous amount of that content into digital documents, so they're available. So and now we're working to curate it a bit, because there are a couple of 100 videos and 400 or 500 articles and a bunch of books, a couple of 100, 100 books. Most of that, a lot of that is free online, but no human being is going to wade through it. So we're starting to curate it into more bite-sized chunks, so that people could pick a theme and scan it pretty quickly and make it useful, so that you can actually do something with it, as opposed to just filing it online. So it's a 2-stage process, but it's all part of the same. You need energy and you need connection, but you also need access to data and resources. So we're trying to make that happen in parallel.
Thank you, Jack and Linda. Jack, can you continue a little bit about Toronto Summer School and what is the meaning of all the things that you have done?
Well, in 1984, so it does go back a bit, we were trying to figure out, we had the ridiculous notion that if we could just capture the leaders of education and told them about this wonderful new idea of including everybody together, that we could fix things. And so we set about to try, and parents were the driving force. They kept saying, we don't have access to information. Can you do something? So we just started having meetings, and that turned into an institute. And we thought it should be, it needed a fancy brand. So we borrowed McGill University, who hated us, but we went there during the summer, and people came from all over the world, and a couple of hundred at a time. And at that time we spent 2 weeks sort of bathing in each other's, the soup of inclusion. What did it mean in education? What did it mean in community? What did it mean? Just what did it mean? And it was very powerful, and it was educators and families and community organizers and all kinds of, it was a real mix, which was great. In time, that moved back to Toronto. And so the Toronto Institute has been going throughout. And I think a couple of things about it that are fun. Some people use the term unconference. That came after we started doing this. But our idea was we don't want to organize, we don't want to over-organize. We want to mine the capacities of the people who come. So we did have some sessions that we knew that people wanted to hang out with John McKnight for a bit, and John O'Brien and Beth Mount and various people. So, we did some of that where we had what we called modules, and you got to spend mornings with those folks for a chunk of time. But we also created what we called the Learning Marketplace, which was based on the open space concept. And we had a huge board that we took us several hours to build every year. And it had open space. It was blank other than just lines and spaces. And we invited people to, we set up a deck of big Post-it notes. And if you had a topic, a question you wanted to explore, a topic you wanted to talk about, a theme you wanted to think about with some people, people lined up, basically announced their headline news and posted it on the board. And so we'd have anywhere from 30 to 200 topics in an hour that went on for the next 3 days. And people got to spend time in the places on the topics that were important to them. And that was very, very powerful and really exciting. Always a problem. There were 20 places you wanted to be and you couldn't, which is a wonderful problem to have. And so it's been a gathering, and it's continued until pandemic. And so at that point, we tried to pick up what Linda just said. We said, okay, so this is a good thing, and it's got energy and vitality, and it has really important core values. So we don't want to lose that. So we've been doing these ideas that matter mini sessions to try and sustain the energy and the values. And we're going to do something mid-July. So we're going to book one of your sessions. We're working on that right now. It won't be a week long this time. It'll be shorter because the Zoom endurance factor is real. But our core idea as we're inventing this is build your own. So we're not going to tell you what to do. We're going to give you a menu, some of which will be live and some of which will be from our various archives, but we will set it up so you can build your own institute, and we'll gather at times to see how you doing, what are you learning, what are you thinking about? And so we'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Jack, and I'm looking forward to it. So now we have a theme for one of the Action Mondays in July, perhaps two. So now we need you, all of you, to produce these Action Mondays. So and me and Michael and people who are familiar with Action Mondays, we are here to help you. But none of these structures, none of these environments come from nothing. It comes from the community. And like Linda wrote there, what is meaningful enough for us to make an action? So that's the question that we will continue in No Labels, No Walls Facebook group, in Facebook page, and also in CNTV producers group. So join these and follow the Action Mondays every Monday, the same time, the same place. So Kevin has been collecting data from this session into a Padlet. So if you're not familiar with Padlet environment, so you can join in and put your data, invite your friends also to join in. So any of you and your networks can be the solution to the challenge of keeping these Action Mondays alive. So it's also a skill, it's a place. Kukunori will fund all necessary technology, but the question is it meaningful enough for us? Is it useful enough for what is it there for? So this was the Action Monday about digital activism. There's still 2 minutes left, so I will tell a little bit about the next Monday. Next Monday, we are part of the huge CitizenFest called Festival of Debate. So please come and join us next week, the same time, the same place. The theme will be a Giriful project. So me and my friends, we are working together with Bangladesh, working with people with autism and their families in the countryside. Something that might be interesting to all of us, using art and culture, something that is very, very important for us in No Labels, No Walls movement. So next week, very interesting topic, but now, Jack, you have to pick a host for next week. So you
I don't know. I'm curious whether our hashtag Maven master could generate new activity. Would you be willing, Kevin? You there, Kevin?
I'm relatively new and feeling somewhat a little ill-equipped to provide a lot of support at this point until I kind of get my feet wet within the group. So hopefully, hopefully that's acceptable.
Absolutely acceptable. So my next nominee will be you, Cynthia. You seem to have a real handle on how to manage this. Left, right, center, up and down. So are you in?
Oh, no, I totally don't, but thank you for thinking so. I actually thought I was supposed to present today because last week, you know, just like you're doing right now, they asked for hosts. I was like, well, I don't really have anything going on, but okay, so my answer is still the same. I don't really have anything going on, but I did put together a thing that I could use. If everybody's okay with that, I'm fine with it as well.
So Cynthia, the hosting bit is asking how people are doing and then introducing the speaker next week. So
yeah.
I can totally do that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're up. You're on.
And you're meeting me and Cynthia also and other people in the Citizen Network TV meeting that happens 1.5 hours before the Action Monday in the same address. So if you're interested in broadcasting your message to the world, so please join me and Cynthia for CNTV with both Kevins too. So thank you, Jack, so much. Thank all of you of joining this week, and see you all next week too.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.